Good morning, friends. It is a brisk morning here after Easter, and so we know the good news, shelter in place orders, and facing this global pandemic with the COVID virus. But Easter came and Christ rose again. We didn't have to be in a sanctuary for that to happen. God is bigger than that. And it was good to be reminded of that. So I was asked to help with a daily bread this week, and so I was thrilled to do so. And I'd like to talk about music. I am in the choir. So many times in the Bible, we are asked to sing to God, to make music, to bang a tambourine, to play the drums, to play the flute, but most often to sing. And many of the verses in the Bible, especially the Psalms, have been turned into song or were originally intended to be song. So that's a long-standing tradition that God wants us to make music, and He doesn't mind if we don't have a great voice. It's the act of the singing that really connects our souls one to another, and one also to God. I had rewritten the lyrics or the text to one very well-known hymn, which is "It Is Well With My Soul," and that's very common to use that piece in this time of year, during Lent actually, when we're lamenting that we haven't reached Easter yet. Now this year we've reached Easter, but we still have a lot that's on our plates in the world with COVID-19. The hymn lent itself very well to me writing new words that apply to today. And so I presented that to the staff, and they approved of what I had written. And so I decided to do some research on the original hymn because I wanted to know the story behind it. And it's really, I'll be brief about it, but it's really interesting and relatable to what we're going through right now. It was written in 1876. It was published, and it was written by, the words were written by a man named Horatio Spafford. He lived in Chicago with his family, his wife, and he had 4 daughters and a son, and he was a very prominent attorney who owned a lot of real estate, and he was a layman Presbyterian, very devout in faith. Tragedy upon tragedy started happening in his life, and in 1871, when the Great Chicago Fire took place, he lost his whole fortune. Basically everything he owned was just burned to the ground, and he also lost his son to scarlet fever. So trying to get past this, the family decided to take a trip to Europe. And of course he traveled by boat back then, and his wife and daughters went ahead of him, and he was going to meet with them over in Europe. And the ship that they were sailing on collided with another vessel on the Atlantic, and the ship sank. And his wife survived. His 4 daughters all died. The story of the hymn, which is a true story, is that he got on a ship to go over and be with his wife, who had made it to Europe. And the captain knew about his situation and losing his family. And the captain told him when they were at the exact spot where the other ship had gone down and where he had lost his daughters. And at that moment, he was filled with a sense of peace and the presence of God. And that is where he wrote, "It is well with my soul." And in the midst of tremendous grief, that every chorus, he had 7 verses in his version, every chorus is, "It is well with my soul." And that he could proclaim that kind of faith, it really translates well into what we're going through. Um, but most importantly, only with God, he wins. You know, we didn't have church in the sanctuary, and yet Easter happened. And he's going to win again. We don't know when. We're in the in-between phase here. And so that's what my song is for. And I hope it blesses you and that you stay safe, in good health, in good spirits, and that God blesses you in every area of your life.